Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel if you're rejoining us, and welcome to everyone who may be new joining us. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, online business educator. What else do I do? I do a few other things here and there. Speaker, mental health speaker, which is one of the focuses of my channel. But today I have a lovely guest with me, Rowe, who is a member of my online business community, Free Black Women business community. But I will pass over to her to introduce herself and share a little bit about her coaching business.
Thank you, Marissa,
You're
and
welcome.
thank you everyone for welcoming me here. I'm very
Yes.
glad to be here tonight, and I never thought I would be doing something like this, so I feel
Yes.
nervous and excited um,
Mhm.
because I would definitely say that I am an introvert. I am not one
Yes.
to be at the forefront or be on camera or be seen. Um,
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Columbo, and I really like how unassuming he is.
Ooh, I love that.
So, let's see. I I graduated college in 2011. I saved up some money to move to Peru in 2012, and I taught English there for 3 years.
Hmm.
Um, I got a bachelor's in sociology and Spanish, so I went knowing some Spanish when I went to Peru. I came back to the States in 2015, and I got a job in 2016 working at. In March of this year, I got laid off.
Hmm. Mhm.
I wish I could tell you that I was sad about it though. Um, and that's what we're here tonight talking about. Um, I I knew that it was not healthy, but I just was in the mindset of I have to keep going because I don't have a backup plan.
Yes.
What I learned, let's see, I think I was there almost 7 years. Yeah.
Hmm.
What I learned there, um, especially towards the end, was how to really hone in on strategy and just kind of thinking backwards. So, where when I first started, I, never thought to look for another job and really how the mechanics of making the shift work in my favor, what that would look like.
Hmm.
Um, I was looking for other jobs towards the end of that time because I knew that I wanted to work remotely.
Hmm.
I don't want to go back outside. That
Hmm.
was kind of what I was thinking. Um, because where I live, there aren't good jobs, and the commute was, it wasn't fun anymore.
Hmm.
Um, and I didn't like the way that I was being treated, right?
Yes.
And I know that this is something that we have talked about
Hmm.
a lot. And what I realized in the opportunity that I got in being laid off was a chance to hit the restart button.
Hmm.
Um, I knew that I wanted to be healthier mentally and physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
And I had been talking to myself about going on a healing journey and, just kind of scratching around the edges of emotional intelligence and, how can I conform myself into a more emotionally intelligent being. And I have to say, I wasn't making a lot of progress
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't consistent. Um, and I think that is a part of the struggle that we have to face going into a toxic job. You know, when it taxes your patience in ways that you did not know, uh, to keep your mouth closed and not say, you need to do the job. It's not my job, it's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to not lash back out at your boss, and so on and so forth. Uh, I realized that I then had an opportunity to do something different. And I went back to the drawing board, sort of, kind of, starting back from the last time in my life where I had a chance to do something different, which was after college. And I knew that I enjoyed counseling, but I did not want to go to school forever. Uh, and I'm about to turn 35 in a couple of weeks. Forever,
Yay.
forever is 2 years for me. So I was looking for things that I could do, any type of certificate, because I felt like, which is weird, but I felt like I kind of grew smarter in a different way after leaving formal education.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had the capacity to apply myself. And a certificate was enough for me rather than having a formal degree, so on and so forth. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
the debt. Um, and then I found coaching. And, the one of the co-founders, she mentioned a lot of things that I never told anyone about. And I just kind of knew it was going to make sense to me to make this move. And what I have found in that is me.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
um, because I don't feel that the program taught me anything new per se, but it was more like all of the raw potential that I have always carried with me. I am finding ways in which I can hone it, which I can sharpen it, which I can apply it with direction. Because while talking about, what happened at my toxic job, what happened, in terms of just interfacing with the sales reps, and then, you know, the lack of support from, supposedly my management, that wasn't getting me anywhere. What I wanted to do was really to find a solution rather than expound simply on the problem. And I feel like coaching helped me to do that, because while I was looking into emotional intelligence before, what I found is that I am emotionally intelligent. I and my superpower is slowing down. You know, um, the
Wow.
world is moving so fast now. But what I have found to be the best thing for me is to slow down. And then, of course, I think I mentioned before, being honest about how I feel, whatever the
Mm.
situation is,
Yeah.
because everything happens and you do have an emotional response. Um, it does not make you weak or less than to speak the truth about what you feel.
Not at all. That's a word. You have said so many.
Um,
Ooh,
and I
yeah.
find when I look, when I give myself distance from it, the truth has a beauty that is so unique. It's so singular. It, I, I mean, it's like looking is if you were looking at all of the colors just side by side, the truth will always be white, even though all of the other colors are beautiful. It's a color in and of itself, and it truly is the absence of all of the others. It stands alone. And I don't know, that is what I feel I am moving in, giving myself a schedule and giving myself actionable steps um, has definitely helped me, because when I got laid off, I didn't cry. I was really more surprised that I was relieved. Um,
Mm, mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been over 6 months and I'm still not like, oh my gosh, I mourned the loss, and I have regret and this and this. It was so sour. It was so just ugh. Um, I'm so glad that they gave me that gift.
Mm,
And the things that I learned there truly help me now because all I did was look at problems and try to figure out how to break it down into manageable steps and really kind of work backwards, so to speak. So the the people, of course, made it toxic. The people made it intolerable. Um, but what I did, uh, how can I say this? My day-to-day job is it was me in that a large part of what I did, I didn't have set instructions. It was more like if I'm presented with at least this percentage of a scenario, this
mm,
is what we would have to do that lines up. But then the rest of it, I would wing it. And I have to say, I love winging it. I love winging.
mm,
I feel I taught English in Peru. And I do feel that in my career going forward as a coach, it's something that will serve me well. So I don't know. I'm looking at it. It was a bad situation, but I'm choosing to leave all of that behind me and work through being. Are you there?
yes, we can hear you again. Cut out for a second, but
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Um, and to me, I feel like that is not that it's a war, but it is. That is the armor with which I equip myself to be ready, um, to find some stability, right? Because, like you mentioned earlier this week with John Henryism, they do look at us as machines and they are looking
Mm-hmm.
to exploit us to our very last breath.
Yeah.
And I feel that if we can protect our peace uh, more avidly, more aggressively, we stand to win, right? Compared to succumbing to the toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question about that. Protect our peace more aggressively. Wow. Can you talk more about that? Like,
Yeah, let me
really
write that
guarding
down.
our peace.
It's a thing. I have to write it down.
Yeah, yeah, but just guarding our peace against people who want to take it. It gives them joy to take our peace. How
Yeah.
do we do that? How do we be okay with that, right? Like being aggressive about that. You're not going to steal my peace. No matter what you do, I have a fence around it.
Um, some of the things that I've learned on the outskirts of my emotional intelligence journey, really instituting and sticking to your boundaries is, I feel, one of the biggest ways to guard your peace in a very aggressive manner, to honor your yes and your no. Um, I always say no. But when I was at work, I always said yeah, even though I didn't want to, because that was my job. And then my job description was not, like set in stone. It was, well, it can be infinite, because we are the bosses, we get to do that.
Yes.
Um, Finding ways to honor your no, finding ways to honor your yes, and being honest with your feelings. Because when you feel some kind of, when you are presented with any situation, you already feel some kind of way. And when you admit the truth of that to yourself, that is how you move forward in honoring your yes and your no, be it at work, but most certainly at work, in your social circle, anywhere. Because everyone who is in contact with you deserves the best you. And when you can be true to how you feel, um, when you can continue to be in your bubble of peace, everyone can be comfortable around you.
Mm.
It in the program that I just finished, they talk about honoring your personal power. And I feel like this is how we would go about that, because so many times we hear all of these wonderful things about, I'm on my healing journey, and it's great, because we all need that. I mean, any way that you can imagine, in ways that you have not imagined yet, we have been exploited and traumatized.
Yes.
But for me, I knew that I needed to walk it out instead of just simply saying it. Because for me, having a solution, having steps about how to analyze the problem, about how to resolve the problem, um, spoke to the problem solver in me. So I
Yes.
needed it. I love my checklist.
Me too. I love a good checklist.
And I don't want to throw the checklist away, but how can I turn this into something that serves me rather than me serving it?
Mm.
So yeah.
Jay. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Whew. Yes. Donna says yes. I like this. Guard your peace. Just that right there. Guard your peace. It's okay to be aggressive about it too. You don't
Yes.
get access to my peace. Yes. Ooh.
Yes.
I did want to highlight this question here. Could you please explain what the people did to make the workplace toxic from Hope and Victory?
Yes. So in my job, um, I knew that I wanted a job where I could continue to practice my Spanish. And at Verbatim Americas, I was their sales support, business support specialist for our Latin American sales reps. So My job was really divided in that there were things that I did for our sales team, but the salespeople were not my bosses. My boss was the business support manager, but I didn't do things for her. I did things for our sales team. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that face right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um, so if we had orders coming in, like customers wanted to know, can we order such and such about an optical disc, or, we want to order this many mice to go into Walmart in Mexico. I was the one responsible for getting the details of that order together. And the way that the director of sales for Latin America, the way that he talked to me was really not okay.
Yeah.
Um, because it was this feeling, this overall feeling of I'm only going to work with you um, in a way that you are subservient to me. And mind you, that is my job, right? If he tells me to do something, that's what I'm supposed to do. But I felt like there was a distinction because I was not his personal assistant, and he regarded my position as his personal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I felt like we all have to be responsible. You
Yeah.
cannot become the director of sales being so irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I felt it was, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, well, if you can do this, this, and this, and why can't you? You are sending me an email, but you could have sent the intended recipient this email.
Exactly.
And, there were just, the line of distinction was never made officially clear by the company. Um, Being ingrained in this idea of everything must be perfect, to me, it was very clear. I am to help you put the order together. I am not to put the order together for you because you get paid commission for that. I don't,
Right.
right? So to me, it was very clear. Um, and I felt like my boss and his boss, they allowed him that liberty. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, you are supposed to do this. And if the other sales reps get this idea, because this is all learned behavior, um, they would follow the same pattern in that, like, oh, can you do this, this, and this for me? In terms of getting the details of a particular order together rather than, what are you doing um, to utilize the resources that we give you to put this order together?
Right.
I should be confirming what we have and not being the one to look for things for you to sell. You as a sales rep, that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it just, I don't think it was a language barrier. Um, but I do feel that he looked down on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I thought that I was more genuine because I made an effort to speak Spanish. There are not many people from the United States who do bother to do so, and even less that look like me. Um, and he just, I don't know, it was a feeling. So
Mm-hmm.
I think for the longest time, I just thought it was me because it was a feeling. It wasn't anything that I could specifically pinpoint. And he didn't have to talk to 3 and 4 different other team members. He talked to me because we were a lean company. It wasn't like there were 5 associates that needed to do the work for Latin America. We got everything done with just me. Um, I couldn't really compare stories with my coworkers because we handled different channels. Um, all of the other channels that we did, they all spoke English. It was only me for the Spanish speaking peoples in Latin
Mhm.
America. So, but I began to see that it was a problem in the fact that my boss did not take up for me, nor did she assume an objective role.
Mhm.
Um, she sided with him, and it's like, well, this is the way that we've been doing things. This is the way that we do this, and you, not verbatim, this is what she said, but this was the sentiment, like, you should stop being so sensitive. It's, you are the one that is very delicate, and you shouldn't be, because he's a man at sales. This is what they do. And over time I began to see that as a problem, because
Mhm.
um again, driven to perfection, just enslaved to perfection, really.
Mhm.
I believe in accountability. I believe in responsibility. Uh,
Yes. Mhm.
it just, we have to come together. It is a team effort, yes. And I have no problem, in a specific situation, if you are out in the street and you need me to look up something, that's totally okay. I got you. That's my job.
Mhm.
It becomes a problem when, you know, you are not out live in the street meeting with customers and you still are asking me, expecting me to do all of these other things that I do feel we pay you well to do.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I hope that answers the question.
it does. It does. Thank you. Yeah, and hope and victory. You are not protected.
Yeah. Um, and again, as time went on, I began to see how my boss did not take an objective role in the situation. And that was when I began to understand that it truly was oppressive.
Yeah.
Um, I think we talked about it again in the live earlier this week about John Henryism,
Mhm.
how you're excited about the ideas in which you can make the processes better at your job because you genuinely
Yes.
care.
Mhm.
Only to see those things never play out, or they never credit you for the idea or seek your advice about doing different things. um, because if you came up with the idea, surely you have fleshed it out enough to know, like, this is what its trajectory would be. um, that kind of thing.
Mhm. That's so
So
true.
yeah.
Because I experienced that too, um, at the job I was at. Going, overexerting myself, like you talked about, like John Henryism, like we talked about earlier this week.
Yeah.
Overexerting myself to try to improve processes because I saw where things were going wrong. I saw places where, it could be more efficient.
Yes, because
And
that's
so,
what we do.
I
That is
know
who we
it's
are.
glaringly obvious, like just fix this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you offer those suggestions, people don't want to hear it. So we're hired to do this, right? It's like sometimes it's even the job description. Please help us make our processes more efficient. But then when we
Yes,
do offer that feedback, it's like, well, we didn't ask you to. Well, then why'd you hire me to do this? It's confusing.
exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I felt like I needed to go somewhere with the peace of mind that I still had left. So
Yeah.
I felt like toward the latter years, I just kind of quietly quit and just kind of did,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I have to do. And it was so hard to keep telling myself to not care, to not care, to not care. Um, I didn't consider myself such a caring person, but it, as wild as it was, and as not an environment in which I can flourish in as it was, I have to say I am thankful for all of the things that I learned there, because in order to know what to do, sometimes we have to learn what not to do first.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like there's no more corporate America for me.
I don't think I can do it either. I don't
and
think I
and I,
can.
I'm so glad to be honest with my feelings about that, and just it's okay, and again, day after day, week after week, I had to look at the problem backwards. So now when I make my moves, if there's anything that I want to do, I look at the problem backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been a great help to me to
Yeah.
practice out this skill.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's key. That's key. I did want to ask you um, how you were able to develop that sense of self trust in trusting the fear might be there, right? Getting laid off is stressful for a lot of us. How were you able to tap into that? I have the
Mhm.
skills. I'm going to be okay. Because I feel like a lot of us have difficulty with that.
Surrender.
Surrender. Ooh.
Um, so I've set my schedule up now to have like more self-care days, right?
Mhm.
2 days is not enough. So I'm not working right now, but I'm working a 4-day week. And yesterday I just kind of went off schedule and stuck my one of my self-care days in there. One of the things that came up in some of the material I was reading is the difference between authority and control.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can't wait to dig into that, right? Um, but one of the things that came out when I was speaking in the chat for the live you did earlier this week was that they are entrepreneurs of oppression, right? And they seek to be controlling of every aspect of our lives, especially when we are on the job. Um, I feel that in a world, in a society where we have so much more in terms of technology allowing us to be able to work remotely, why do I have to go back into the office?
Why? We already proved that it's possible.
I don't know what it is, but I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. um and in that, I recognize there is this they have this need for control,
Mhm.
to the point where it will literally squeeze the life out of you if they have their way. And what is the difference between that and authority, right? And just kind of recognizing that control does come from pieces, right? It comes from fear. And
Mhm.
authority is resting in what you know to be true, and kind of, surrendering to the process.
Mhm.
So I feel that I have been able to build my trust in myself, and strengthen it more so because I have let go of wanting to control every aspect. Because one of the things I did not know
Mhm.
is because I had this need for everything to be perfect, right? My hand was like this,
Mm.
and you can't hold anything from a closed fist, right? But when I surrendered to my authority, right? Because I have the skills, I have the competence, I am
Yes.
capable to do whatever I set my mind to. I can wing it and make it
Mm-hmm.
work for me. Um, that was what, and that is what is making the distinction. I feel like when I come out of this, I will be a new Jasmine. Um,
Mm.
and not like new as in unrecognizable, but like a new skin of me, right? Because it
Yeah.
was always in me. I've always believed that everything that we need, we have within ourselves. I believe it's about clearing the clutter, so to speak, and tapping into that, and really doing the work to bring that out and let that become our reality. But letting go of control and walking in the authority that I have as a person, right? As a
Mm-hmm.
woman, as a black woman, um, has definitely helped me to do that. And I just said that there are no steps behind that, but I feel like slowing down and resting has really been the steps to see that in myself. Um, because if I were working right now, I would always be on the time of my job, whatever job I was in. And we need more time than that.
We do. We really do. Yep. And I
Does that
think even
answer your question?
it does. It does. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, even being able to take like a sabbatical before I left full time, having 11 weeks to not work for like the first time, because I've been working since I was a kid, which is the case for a lot of us, working from such a young age. But having time to just sit and reflect and have that mind space, and then your mind starts opening up to, oh my gosh, all
Yes.
these possibilities that you didn't even think of before because you were so exhausted all the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I did want to, let me see. There's a few comments here. I want to, yes. Sorry, please, honey. Yes, guarding your peace without it coming across super defensive and prickly is what I'm working on now. So, do you have any tips as we're kind of transitioning and talking about your life coaching business, um, to kind of able to guard your peace without it coming off prickly? I guess if you have any advice for that, or is that even a
Um,
concern that we should have?
that's something that I don't struggle with. But what I would say is you have what's most important is to recognize that you matter, right?
Mm,
Not above or less than,
yeah.
but you matter equal, like the other people matter in your life. It is important to not go around offending people. Yeah. Um, and you don't want to come off as a hermit, an angry hermit, right? I
Hmm.
definitely understand that. Uh, but I would flip the question back to you. These people that you are thinking of when you say you don't want to come across as super defensive, do they deserve to have access to you? I
Okay, that
know.
hit. That.
But so many times, because when you when you are so like, it must be perfect, it must be excellent, right? You are so controlling. And I didn't even know how much of a control freak I was. I did not know. I feel like it was the biggest secret of my life right in my face. Um, but it's true. It's so
Mhm.
true. And, really just kind of recognizing the areas in which I wanted to control and letting go of those things. Um, what I realize, what that looks like for me in relationships is being the one to give rather than being in a position to receive, because it means I'm more vulnerable.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it was like, but no, because I love giving. Giving is good. And it is. It
Yeah.
is. Giving is such a beautiful thing. But I realized that I was giving because it was a way to control. It,
Mm.
I, um, do these people deserve access to you? The people who love you,
Yeah.
not because of what you do for them, but because of your presence, who you are, they won't be offended when you decide to guard your peace.
Mm. Yeah.
They won't, because they'll recognize how more together you are, how more present you are in the moment.
Right. Mm. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. To continue with this, I just don't want to be able to go. I just want to be able to go no, and that's it, and not feel guilty or defensive because I don't think they take my no seriously. That is something I have struggled with for a long time. So thank you for sharing that, first of all, because I know a lot of us can resonate with that.
Yeah,
But that part, do they deserve access to you? Because the people who really, you know, when you take your piece back, right, when you prioritize it, and they're not supporting you, that kind of opens up more questions. Why are you here then? You know? Mm-hmm.
exactly, exactly. And if you feel like saying no, I don't know. Sometimes I feel there is a period in which you do have to go through that feeling guilty because, oh my gosh, I felt like that's something that I struggle with. I got an invitation today, and in my heart, I was like, no. And it's like, well, don't say no right away. You should at least pretend to be social.
Yeah.
Um, but you have to, again, it's a you have to you have to aggressively guard your peace, and you have to practice, right? It is something that you have to practice. It's new. I totally understand because I am there. I'm still there. It's unfamiliar territory, but you owe it to yourself to be able to say no and mean it. And you have to teach yourself as well as others around you that when you say something, you mean it, right? It's not, well, maybe just this one time. No, I said what I said, and I meant what I said
Right.
with the eyes
Right.
too. So it is uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
you have to you have to show yourself that love first, because it's nobody else's responsibility to give it to you. And that was something that I am still learning, because it was like, well, if I give, surely they'll see that I'm pouring out and they'll give back to me.
Oh,
No,
Jay.
they won't.
That's what I experienced.
They won't. They're getting for free. Of course they love it. And but
Yes.
but you have to be able to give now from the overflow rather than from the primary contents of your vessel.
Give from the overflow, not the primary
I
contents
gotta
of
write
your
that down.
vessel. So many gems. left and right here. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's such helpful advice, especially as a healing people pleaser, right? Of constantly thinking I have to say yes to everything that comes my way. Um, really prioritizing myself and realizing, like you said, I'm the only one who can say no. And no matter if I overgive, if someone is continuing to take from me, they're not going to be like, okay, that's enough. I'll stop taking. Because they've already demonstrated that they're comfortable with continuing to take from me, even when I'm depleted.
Yeah,
So they're showing me. It's really just tapping
exactly.
into that truth of I see them for who they are, right? Trusting yourself in that.
Yeah, because there are very few people who are so smart that
Yeah.
they can always remember to be fake with you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to
True.
show you who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's that smart. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
met them yet. I mean, there are some, but they have a whole other set of issues that
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to open that can of worms. Most people when they behave and they interact with you, they're showing you who they really are and what they really think of you, how they really feel about you. So you can trust that. You can take that as evidence to support your decision, whatever it may be.
Ooh, you can take that as evidence. Ooh, that's powerful. That's powerful. I did want to ask for those of us who have kind of went down the rabbit hole of self gaslighting, right? When we see the evidence, we see it clear as day, and yet the more time that goes on, we're like, okay, we really maybe I didn't see it that way. Maybe they didn't mean it like that, right? I wanted to ask if you had any tips for that because I know a lot of us do that. We'll gaslight ourselves.
Um, I shared in the group that I had to say no to a
Yeah.
potential client, and it
Yes.
wasn't even potential. We hadn't sat down to do anything yet.
Right.
And let me see, how do I want to say this? You have to build this muscle, right? Of trusting your intuition, of honoring your yes and no. Um, People are going to say, do, and behave in a way that shows their true intentions all the time. It is our job as people who are recovering from overgiving, oversharing, people pleasing. It is our job to be very attentive to what we see and even more attentive to what we feel because um, there may be someone who's smart enough to say the right things, but it's often in what is unsaid, right? The nonverbal stuff that is heavily communicated. Um, so honoring the truth of what you feel, right? Because I don't know, I feel that if if you were wrong, you will always have the opportunity to go back and make it right. But if you were right, you know, if
Mm-hmm.
you were right to distance yourself from that person, to revoke access to yourself with that person, um, there's nothing greater than the confirmation of peace that you have. Because when I told when I told that girl no, I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, whatever she would have paid me, it would not have been enough for the peace that I have. It would not, because I don't really interact. I don't get out. And I'm okay. I'm really okay with that.
Yeah.
So I believe that I owe it to myself to be picky about who I choose to interact with. I believe I
Mm-hmm.
owe myself that.
Yes.
Um, like I said, I'm getting ready to turn 35 in a couple of weeks. I still say that I am young, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
too old to be playing games out here.
That's how I feel. I'm about to turn 30. I'm like, no. Stuff that I would have
Okay,
tolerated at 20, I can't
you
do it
know,
going into 30. I can't do it.
exactly. I'm too old for that. Oh no, I'm not, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. So if I understand your behavior to be something that does not inspire confidence, it does not inspire trust, no. And no means no. And I'm not taking it back um, because I know what I feel, right? And I know what I see.
Yeah.
And I'm trusting that because, again, I'm honoring the truth about my feelings
Yeah.
and I'm saying no and yes accordingly. And I'm sticking with that. And
Mm.
it's scary, right? Because I'm still doing this and it's still really new and it's still like, oh my gosh, are you sure?
Yes.
um, but it is something that we must practice because the payoff is more it's more than money. And I would look at it like this. In terms of valuation, we know about money, but the money that we deal with is literally called a bill. It's not a true measurement of worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, your peace of mind is a currency that cannot be measured. Um, you trusting yourself and your intuition is also another type of currency. And the more that you do it, it gains interest, right? Like when I looked at it like that, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Um, so that's what, again, walking in our authority, understanding that, we have value beyond what is measured in terms of our labor in a job.
Yes.
Um, because how can it be that when you are resting, you come up with such marvelous and awesome
Mm-hmm.
ideas? That that's a currency. That's value. That's worth
Ooh.
that they haven't put a dollar amount on yet. They can't, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So get excited about being in your closet, being in your cave, getting to know you because you are worthy, you are valuable, and you
Yeah.
have so much more to offer.
Yeah.
Guard your peace.
Guard your peace. Ooh. And that is a currency, right? Because man, our understanding of currency in Western society is just paper. But the peace that you have access to and the downloads come once you have rest, like once your survival brain, because a lot of us are just in survival mode day to day,
Yeah,
once you have time to rest and sit, the ideas start coming, your true self comes flooding back to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, thank you, Jay. Thank you. Yes. Donna says yes. Oh my, you both are so young and wise. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Donna.
that. Yes. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Danny. Hey, Danny. Yes. Say that again. Guard your peace. Guard your peace. Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
GYP.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Um, so I did want to talk about your business, of course. Of course, your life coaching, health coaching business. And just to read a little bit about it. So, helping women connect to themselves so they can awaken their resilience while overcoming their inner critical, self sabotaging voice. I
Yes.
wanted to talk about this because I know a lot of us have an inner voice that is highly critical. That's not our own, right? Because we don't come here being highly critical of ourselves from nowhere.
Ooh,
But I wanted to ask if you had anything to share about this voice. Where does it come from, and how can we begin to unlearn this self-critical voice?
um, I think it comes from us not being from here, like us as Black
Ooh,
people, right?
yes.
And being forced to conform in a society in every facet, right? That we see with our eyes, and even what we engage in spiritually, non-verbally, it all counts. It all adds up. And I feel like it reverberated from when I heard Alicia mention, I think she said something like, we, a scarcity mindset, right?
Hmm.
This idea of competition as though there isn't enough, right? When we, the truth of the matter is, when we look at not our manufactured or fabricated reality, but when we just go outside and look, there's an abundance of everything everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, there, lack is not something that you see played out in nature.
No.
Um, so we don't lack, right? But we engage in a society that conditions us, that trains us to believe that we must compete because there is a finite amount of resources, of benefits, of whatever we consider to be good. Um, I believe that is where the voice comes from, that uh, critical voice, that self sabotaging voice, because it drives us to conform in every aspect. Um, and it's to our detriment. We put ourselves in boxes and we don't realize that we are in cages. And to me, I feel like that is their crowning achievement.
Mm.
You to regulate yourself, for you to squeeze yourself so that you put yourself in a box and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
When Marissa, when I tell you I did not realize that I was a controlling person, I mean,
Mhm.
it was like this on my face and I didn't know it, right?
Yeah.
Because of course I'm the one, I have to do it, and I have to do it all on my own. I have to be the one in charge of everything because this person, whether they were pretending or not, has shown themselves not to be capable of making the other end meet.
Right.
Um, being honest about how I feel and slowing down has really quieted that voice, has really put that voice in the back, has put that voice in the box where it belongs.
Yeah.
And I do feel it won't be long before we permanently separate ways. um, I have to say, uh, in the program that I learned, they talk about, the various areas of life and how they are all interconnected. And I do believe that to be true because how you do one thing is how you do everything. What I noticed was the dissatisfaction in my weight, right? Um, what I did not know was that this rippled into the dissatisfaction in my career. But of course, that should have been obvious. The dissatisfaction with my taking care of me, right? Um, the dissatisfaction I felt with my higher power, the dissatisfaction I felt in my relationships. I guess I would say the lack thereof, because while I do like being alone, I don't always want to be alone. Um, I just really understanding how all of those things share a common thread. Uh, so that voice is speaking and it's shaping your reality in every part of your life.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel that particularly we as Black women, we have always had this thing where we make something out of nothing and we
Mm-hmm.
make it look good and we make it good,
Mm-hmm.
we make it better.
Mm-hmm.
We have always been, and I liken it to resilience. We have always been those creatures, right? Where we can come up with something and the world wants to emulate what we have done.
Mm-hmm.
And they can only copy the outside. They cannot copy the creative spirit in which it was made, because they are not us. They do not experience our reality. Um, and when I think about the program, that is what I wanted to really connect to, because I don't feel it's something that we have to create, but it's something that we have to reconnect with, because we are always changing. We are always adapting. We are always having to evolve. Um, Most of the time, it has been to our detriment, because we have been forced to feel like we have to be this thing. So society finds us more submissive, more acceptable.
Yes.
Um, but the truth is, I mean, I feel this is what I feel the truth is for right now. When we connect to that and use that energy in a positive way, we can transform ourselves, and we can transform our circles. We can transform our communities in a way that is um, truly comprehensive, right? Because if there's anything going on in terms of we need to improve ourselves, there's a Black woman somewhere to be found.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and I feel that we need to turn that energy inward,
Yeah.
because we need to love ourselves more.
Mm-hmm.
We don't love ourselves enough. And, there are displays of women who, yes, everything is all about me. That's not love.
Right.
Um, to love ourselves with a wholesome love, right? That doesn't mean that you have to uh, cover up everything except your eyes, but
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that you walk around in, you know, whatever cheesecloth. um, there's a way that you can love yourself and express yourself, and it's authentic to you, right? It doesn't have to be that uh, it has to conform with society standards, because what are those standards now? But
Mm-hmm.
um, I have crafted the program because I do believe that the resilience has always been in us, but it is the critical voice, our critical voice, that gets in the way of that. Because when you can silence that voice, be honest with your feelings, your desires will come forth. And those are inclinations, those are hints about where you should be going in life. And that was something that I did not know. And I have to say, it has been such a beautiful thing. It has been, I don't know, such a tender thing. Um, and I have enjoyed it,
Mhm.
really seeing my imagination take shape and um, taking action steps toward it, not just letting it be this uh, fluttering dream.
Right. Right. Ooh. Something you said about, thank you, first of all. Thank you for sharing everything that you've shared tonight. But something you said, we're not creating anything, right? Necessarily, we're reconnecting with something that's already inside of us. So it's not
Yes,
like we have to go seeking out, like in courses and all of these things that are, available to us. It's we have to go within and find what has always been there.
yes, and I 100% believe that. Um, I think one of the things that attracted me to the coaching program I did was that they do believe, and I believe this too,
Yeah.
and I think that is what we connected with. We are not broken. We have been through traumas, we have been through earth shattering things,
Yes.
but we are not broken. We don't need to be fixed.
No.
You just need to reconnect to you.
Mm-hmm.
What we are seeing in your quote unquote brokenness is your disconnect, right? But I, as a coach, want to help you connect to you. I'm not looking to do the hard labor. I'm looking for you to do it in your own time. I just want to be there to support you because I feel that what we need now is someone who will support us, someone who will hold us accountable because we do desire more of ourselves. We desire greater. We desire to be more authentic with ourselves.
Yes.
Um, One of the things that I also realized in this journey, I have been hiding.
Ooh, me too.
And um, doing this live, because when I messaged you, I never thought that you would interview me. If I knew that, I don't think I would have said anything.
Oh, and see, this is beautiful. This is
But
beautiful. Yes.
I'm so glad that I did it because it's not about me, right? But I do have to stop hiding. Um, it's about whatever you can take away from this message that will heal and help you achieve and tap into your greatness.
Mm,
It's not about me, it is about you because you are that valuable. You are that worthy. You deserve to say yes to you. You deserve to treat you as well as you treat everyone else.
yes.
And that is that's who I'm looking for. That's who I'm looking to help in my program. The women who are hiding behind weight, hiding behind their jobs, hiding behind their children, hiding behind anything and everything that you can think of. Because too many of us are hiding,
Yeah.
and there's enough for all of us. We deserve to share the goodness of us that's in us with others.
Mm. Ooh, I love that. We deserve to share the goodness in us with others. Yeah, because you're right. It's not just about us. Like other people need what we're sharing. Other people need our life lessons, the stories that we have inside of us, because we're
Yes.
all part of a greater collective, right? So when you don't share that, or when you have that fear of hiding that a lot of us have, someone else is not getting the healing that they need, and vice versa, right? When
Yes.
we share our stories. Yeah.
And this is how we come together to help each other. When I look at you as someone who is whole versus someone who is broken, your belief in yourself will grow, and what you know that you can do, it will be so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for messaging me, because this interview never would have happened, right? And people needed this. I needed this. So thank you.
Thank you, Marissa, because you have created an environment and you have shown your sincerity, and that level of vulnerability will always bring people to you,
Mm,
because that's not what you see a lot of today. Because I was telling my mom about how I met you, and I was like, yeah, I remember Alicia, but it was something about Marissa. And I mean, I see it all the time. I see it over and over. And I love that. Thank you,
yeah.
because it is very valuable. It takes so much courage to put yourself in a position where other people can see you, you know, especially now. So yeah, thank
Mm.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And yeah, I mean, watching Alicia's videos over the past, like, what, 3 years, 2 years now, and being a part of her communities allowed me the space to feel safe enough to share. And so by me doing that, it's like kind of a ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
powerful. The
Yeah.
power of community and sharing. Ooh,
Yeah. When you step
yes.
into your proper place, um, I was talking with a coach of mine, and I told her that I wanted to stop hiding because it's not about me. It's about letting the light in me reflect outward, and to think of it like we're all aligned, just so like when you see in the um, action movies and they're in the temple looking like we have to adjust the light just so it'll reflect. That is what we should be doing, right?
Mhm.
And as a coach, I'm really only helping you dust off the light that is already in you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh, it gives me all the feels. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Lavendula, yes. Lavendula. This conversation is so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Yes. Ooh, yeah. Yes, Lady Blur. Lady Blur, tears, good tears, but tears been hiding too long. Ooh,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I can
Yeah.
so relate to that. Yes. Hiding, right? Feeling safer, like not sharing anything, not sharing what you're going through. A lot of that
Yeah.
is rooted in real trauma, like real traumatic experience where you have shared something in the past with someone who wasn't safe, and then that left a wound, so that
Yeah.
you don't feel safe sharing with anyone ever again.
It's
But
real.
those messages, those feelings, the stories that we have, if they're bottled up, that creates illness within us.
Oh yeah.
So that's real. Yeah.
It'll take you to a place you don't want to go.
Yeah.
I have some comments that I still will not share online anywhere attached to my name about that student loan debt. So yeah, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm. I did want to ask, as we're wrapping up, I did want to go through some comments that I starred, but I wanted to ask how people can get into contact with you if they're interested in your coaching services that you provide.
Um, I am fresh out of the program, so I do not have a website yet. I'm operating right now from my social media Instagram page. I think is JRowe001. Um, I mean, I am greener than green, right? But don't worry, we will get you, and we will
Yeah.
get you there.
Okay, this live itself. has been therapeutic. It felt like a life coaching session. So if this is any indication of the service you offer, this
Yes.
was a perfect advertisement because the Dark Nate said, your voice is so soothing. It
I get
is.
that a lot. I get that a
Yeah.
lot. Just slowing down.
Hmm. That's it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
beautiful though. Yes,
Yeah.
I did link your Instagram page in the chat. So
Thank
please follow
you.
JL. I'm
Thank you.
so excited to see your journey as it evolves because I know it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing. Um, but yeah, let's going through some comments here.
Okay.
Yes, please like. Yes, please like so that this is shared with other people. Absolutely, we need to get this messaging out. Um, let's see here. Donna had a question about the checklist. So I think this was a checklist about maybe prioritizing yourself and your peace. Um,
Hmm. You know what? Whatever you feel is most important to you. Um, what is on the checklist? It really just depends on, especially now because I've gotten into some sort of a rhythm of it,
mhm,
what I feel is important to me. Right now, for example, on my checklist is to go over materials about improving my communication.
mhm,
Um, let's see. I would say since I got back in the States, so from 2015 to really like 2023, I've kind of just disconnected from social media
mhm,
and from
mhm,
friends and gatherings. So I've been
mhm,
hiding, right?
mhm.
And I've been talking less, literally less every day. And I do appreciate the value in that. But what I also want to do to be more balanced is to communicate more effectively. Right. So on my checklist is appreciative communication and understanding what that means for me. Like, how can I be uh, more effective, more appreciative in my relationships to allow myself to be seen and the other person as well? And not really so I'm giving out free advice because that has been a struggle,
Yes, me
a
too.
real struggle.
Me too.
And I
Yeah.
get mad, like, why are you not following my advice? And it's like, you know what? I didn't ask you for that. So, um, appreciative communication. Uh, Another thing that I've taken up recently is Pilates, and I didn't know it. I
Really?
love it.
Okay.
Um, and even with my whole weight loss journey this time, I said I would not focus on one thing. So I'm doing Pilates, I'm going to classes with the reformer, I'm doing movements in my house, I'm walking, I'm, on the elliptical. So I think what has helped me is having multiple forms of movement, right? And just being consistent with that. That's on my checklist. Um,
Mm,
Giving myself time for prayer, 5
mhm,
days a week at least, has
mhm.
definitely been the biggest challenge, but it is rewarding thus far. Sticking with my schedule for days when I work out versus days when I don't. Scheduling time to study, you know, the various things that I want to learn because I can help my clients because I can help myself.
Mhm, mhm.
So, the things that I'm interested in, learning more about them, scheduling time for those things. So that's an example of what's on the checklist now.
Mhm.
Just kind of,
Thank
okay,
you.
how do I look at this in a week? How do I plan this out for the week? and getting my actual planner and writing it down in my planner.
I need to do that. I need to
You know
do
what?
that.
Because
Yes.
I have it on my laptop, so I'm looking at it digitally, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I'm too old. I like writing.
It's something about writing. It's something about putting your pen to paper. It's different. It is
Yeah.
different than the digital way of doing things. It is. Yeah.
Yes. So
Mhm.
that has definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So, just currently that is an example of what's on the checklist. And taking actionable steps to clear those things off the checklist.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Hmm.
that. Hope and Victory asks, what are your rest practices? If you would like to share that.
Well, like I mentioned just kind of briefly earlier, which I find um, so delightful in a irony, I guess. I do not have a full time 9 to 5 traditional job. Right
Mhm.
now, I am working on my practice, right, my business practice. Uh, but I work in terms of doing the things that I want to do in terms of growing my business, interacting with social media, and learning the different things 4 days out of the week. The other
Mhm.
3 days, which are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I am
Mhm.
resting. Sometimes I'm actually still and I'm not doing anything, but more often than not, I am. I take my long walk either Saturday or Sunday morning, and I throw the schedule away.
I love it.
Because you know what? It's about having balance. I don't want to feel like
That's it.
every second of
Mhm.
every day has to be accounted
No.
for.
Yeah.
And I have found, just in those moments, like my virtual background right now is a park where
Mhm.
I walk. And just kind of having those moments to just wander about. I don't have to get up at the same time on those 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to bed at the same time on those 3 days. And
Mhm.
just kind of, it's been hard because I want to find stuff to do. I still
Yes.
want to find stuff to do. But yeah, just, finding that balance because I said I wanted to set my schedule as if I were already coaching. So I would coach Monday through
Ooh.
Thursday, right?
Mhm.
And it was like, oh my gosh, oh wow, look at you. When did you?
Yes.
So that's how I came up with the schedule. And
Mhm.
I have to say, finding quiet time every day has really helped me because it's just like I can be still within myself, and yeah, the last thing is getting sleep, and that's something that's hard for me because I don't know why the good stuff comes to me late at night.
Mm. Okay. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I have an idea for a planner and a journal for my program. And that came to me, I think, like maybe at 11 o'clock. And I said I wanted to go to bed by midnight. And I did not go to bed until like after 2. Um, which is cool because I got the stuff down. I have the idea, but it's
Right.
like, where was this thinking, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I'm just I'm just saying. Um, so keeping with the bedtime, I find that I'm sharper. I don't go to sleep when I'm trying to meditate.
Mm. Relatable. Yes. Yes.
Because it just turns into nap time.
It does.
So going to bed and really, 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 especially those 4 days, I really try to extend my bedtime schedule, my sleep,
Yeah.
Friday, definitely, and just sticking to those times. And I'm doing so much better, and it helps.
Mm. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes. Because I know for me, like in exiting the 9 to 5 world, I was like, okay, I'm not having a schedule at all. And
Yes.
that kind of was like, no, girl, you got to reel it back in a little bit. Like, because you still have, like you said, practices,
Yeah.
wellness practices that you still want to do, that you still want to have a kind of a schedule, and then have that balance of just having days to do whatever feels right to you. So I love that.
Yes. It helps.
Yeah, the Dark Knight says it's because the discursive mind is more rested at night, allowing more divine intuition to come through. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
That sounds right because
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times. Not during the afternoon,
Wow.
never in the morning, right? The other side
Yes.
of the morning, yes.
Something about nighttime, yeah. Those thoughts come through.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just want to read a few comments here. Some folks are taking FMLA. Yes, time to rest, right? Time to reset. Um, time to kind of activate your imagination again. Um,
Yes.
and we don't have time to rest in this society. Like, we have to take it because
Yeah.
it's not going to be given to us. They would rather see us, work ourselves into the ground. So that's
Yes.
important to prioritize your rest and your peace, like you said.
Yes. 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 It's so true. I mean, when you look at all of the things that, in terms of diseases, how it accumulates, right? Because
Yeah.
its effects are cumulative. It's about stress,
Yeah.
right? If you
Mhm.
can find a way to combat stress, and the secret ingredient, right? The secret recipe is slowing down,
Mm.
right? When you slow
Mhm.
down, you allow your peace to build a bubble in which you are insulated for the day, the week,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Your
real.
peace bubble. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm. And
Yeah.
especially with everything going on in the world, right? Just having, you can still have space for yourself. You can still have peace. It's okay to have your peace, even though chaos is surrounding us so often. To go within and really be able to tap back into what makes me feel good. It's okay to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, y'all. Well, I think as we're wrapping up, I just for reaching out to me first. And then it led down the path of this interview, which has blessed so many people, I'm sure, because it's blessed me. So thank you. Thank you for being
Thank
here,
you,
for sharing
Marissa. Thank
everything that you've
you.
shared. Absolutely. Absolutely. All the gems, the many gems. I got a few quotes up here. My notes are my notes are here. Again, gotta go back and watch this interview. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate y'all sharing your wisdom, your insight in the chat, as always, as we learn from each other in this community. But yeah, any last words? No pressure. No pressure if not.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
all for contributing to an interactive piece.
Yeah.
Um, and my prayer, right? I hope that you all continue to guard your peace aggressively, and that you honor yourselves, right? Because there's so many things going on that want to take away your voice, that want to speak for you.
Mhm.
Your voice matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Your voice
Yeah.
matters. Mic drop. Yep. Seriously, your voice does matter. It does.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, for sharing that. Yes, yes. All the things, all the things. Yes, the replay will be up if you did miss a portion of this. Trust me, you want to watch the whole thing. You want to watch this whole thing. Seriously. But yes, the replay will be available. It was amazing. Yes, yes, it was.
Thank
And yeah,
you.
thank you. Please hit the like on your way out, y'all. So this is shared with other people because people need this wisdom that Jay just shared with us. Um, so thank you. Yeah, as we wrap up. just want to thank y'all so much for being here again. Um, until next time, y'all. Bye.
Bye.